Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the third update to my 20 in 2020 project pan. I am so behind on my filming schedule. Perhaps you've noticed that many project pan updates did not go up in the last month. I'm aboard the struggle bus over here, but I skipped the line because this is my biggest project and I'm only updating it every other month, so I wanted to make sure I got on here and gave you guys an update. It is over 2 weeks late, but I will try my best to be on schedule to have an update for you guys on September 1st so that we're back, to an update on the 1st of every other month, if that makes sense. It doesn't matter. I'm hoping to make this update short and sweet. My goal with this project is to work on 20 of some of my oldest beauty products in my collection. I did decide to do this rolling because ultimately by the end of the year I want to have hit pan on or finished 20 items within this project. So instead of stressing over, the last few potentially in the last month of the year, I just decided to keep this rolling and, throughout the project, meet my goal on 20 items. I hope that makes sense. Prior to this update, I had met my goal on only 3 out of 20, so I had rolled in 3 additional products, and I'm working on 18 makeup items and 2 non-makeup items. So let's just start with those first. My Herbal Essences Mousse. I had said in my last update that I needed to move this into my son's bathroom because that is where our shower is. My husband and I's bathroom only has a tub. Anyways, I did not do that. So for the last 2.5 months, I've only used this product 2 times. Just 2. So this is still pretty much full. The other non-makeup item is this Elizabeth and James Nirvana black perfume. I reached for this only 4 times because this is such a deep, musky, wintry scent. I only reached for this on really gloomy, rainy days now that we're in the warmer months. I do still have some progress. I believe some of this is evaporating because that's quite a bit of progress for only wearing this 4 times. And the scent is starting to change a little bit, so I'm just going to keep working on this until it expires. I think that this is going to expire before I actually finish off the product. My NYX Angel Veil Primer I used 8 times since the last update, and that wasn't enough to make a new mark, unfortunately. So I'm still here halfway through the L on Angel. It does go a little bit lower than that in the center, but it still, coats the sides up to there. So I'm just going to leave that where it is. I did not use my Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless 1 single time since the last update, but it is go time now. It's finally closer to my skin tone. It is still dark, but we haven't been outside as much as we typically would be in the summer because of the global pandemic. But if I have any hope in the world of finishing this before the end of the year, as this is my oldest foundation, I need to start using this now that we are halfway through July. So fingers crossed I can get that done. And empty. So actually this expired. This was my Morphe Bare Skin concealer. This was not the concealer that they even released, the other year, but way before that. This is my oldest concealer, hence, the theme. These are my oldest products. And on July 4th, I called this done because the scent has changed. it just has like a tinge of a sour smell, like just enough that I have quite a sensitive sense of scent smell. What am I even trying to say? So on July 4th, I like opened it and went to bring it to my eye, and I was like, oh, something is a little off. It doesn't smell terrible, but just different. And because this is years and years and years old, I don't want to put this on my eyes anymore. And this is, I was using this concealer as an eye base. Now I considered not counting this as an empty, as it did expire when there's still a little bit of product in here, but I was really scraping around. I wasn't going to take the stopper out anyways, and just this year alone I've used it 53 times. And like I said, I've had this for years and years. I've used it, you know, not consistently because I have too much makeup, but I have used it quite a decent amount over the years I've had it, that I'm comfortable with calling this an empty instead of just a declutter, because I did put effort into using it up. So I will be rolling in a new product at the end of this video. The other concealer I'm working on is my MAC Prolongwear concealer. I did use this 22 times since the last update, and I'm really happy with my progress. This concealer is really hard to see progress in, I feel like. And while I did make the line where it's sitting at, right where my sticker is, it's actually much lower than that. But I'm more than halfway through this now, and I'm so excited about it. I feel like I have a small chance of being able to complete that this year. Powders. I'm working on the bareMinerals Ready Touch Up Veil Broad Spectrum SPF 15 powder. I used this 10 times. This has not been my focus pressed powder. I'm focusing on another one in my Graveyard Project pan, but there's a pretty good dip in here. I thought maybe I could hit pan by this update, but no such luck. Again, I only reached for it 10 times because I am focusing on that other powder. I'm using this more as a touch-up powder through the day to touch up any oily spots after I use like an oil blotting sheet if the situation calls for it. But yeah, day to day, I'm not focusing on this. I'm also working on my e.l.f. HD powder. This actually is 2 loose powders in one packaging. The e.l.f. HD as well as the Under Eye HD, which had glitter in it that I did not like. So I mixed the 2 powders together. So when this is empty, that's actually 2 items. I used this 22 times again. Seems like that's how much I've done my makeup. Maybe I've done my makeup a little bit more than that, but I've been in a funk for a little while with doing my makeup. I feel like there's really not that much progress from the last update. When I put it into this project, it was almost halfway full, a little below half, and now when I have it up like this, it's below the holes there in the sifter. But that's still, you know, quite a significant amount of powder in there for it being an under eye setting powder. At least that's how I'm using it. So we've got quite a long ways to go on this one. The Body Shop Honey Bronzer. In my last update, I was super excited to have hit pan. The pan has expanded just the tiniest bit. I've used this 8 times since the last update. Mostly as a crease shade like I did today, not so much all over the face because it is so light now. Like, yeah, you can't even really see. It's kind of my skin tone now that I have a tan. And if I weren't working on so many powders, I might set my cheeks with this, but I don't think I can squeeze that in. So for now, I'm just using it in my crease. This will be a good bronzer for me again, you know, the last couple months of the year. But because I did hit pan on it, technically that's a goal met, but I just want to see how much more I can expand that pan this year. The bronzer I've been reaching for much more. I reached for this 19 times, is my Tarte Park Avenue Amazonian Clay Waterproof Bronzer. No pan yet, but there is a dip starting. I can see the rings in some angles, but I think I'm still a couple months away from hitting pan. But this has been really beautiful for the spring and summer months. It has a bit of shimmer to it. I'm really enjoying using this bronzer. And again, it is actually, you know, pretty light. At least you can see it. The Tarte one's here and the Body Shop one is here. Pretty light. The Revlon Oh Baby Pink Blush I've used 10 times. Again, this has not been a focus. I've been working on the one in my Graveyard Project pan one much more, but there is a dip in here, which is very exciting. For me, I've never hit pan on a blush, which again would be my goal. But even just getting a visible dip in a blush just feels so good. You know what I mean? Still a long way to go, obviously, but that feels really good. The Becca Highlight in Champagne Pop. Sorry, I feel like I'm just flying through these products, but 20 is quite a lot to get through. I've used this 10 times since the last update as well. I mean, there's a bit of a dip forming maybe, but I don't know. I feel like these highlights are, you know, relatively deep. At least maybe it just looks like that because highlights are so reflective from other people that have panned them. I don't know. The pressed powder products are the ones that seem to give me the most trouble. I don't know if I'll hit pan on them before the end of the year. I'm also working on a liquid highlighter, also from Becca, but this is in the shade Opal. My goal with this from last month to this month was to see visible progress, and I did achieve that. I used it 6 times since the last update and was able to make a new line, which feels really good. I like mixing this in with primers more than I like to tap it on my cheekbones, although maybe I should use this as just a regular, you know, cream or liquid highlight like it's meant to be now that I have a tan. Before it was a little bit too dark, so I was mixing it in with primers, but I think I would get more use out of it now if I remember to apply it just on my cheekbones. So maybe that will be a goal before the next update, is to use it more as like an actual cheekbone highlighter. My Maybelline Color Elixir Gloss in the shade 5, Breathtaking Apricot, I used 6 times since the last update, but I was not able to make a new line. This gloss is very pigmented and intense, so it's not an everyday shade for me, that is for sure, but I am getting use out of it. So this is not going to be finished by the end of the year, but it was my oldest lip gloss, which is why it's in this project. The ColourPop Lippy Sticks in Lumiere I used 4 times and have visible progress, which feels really good. And my 4 times is like 4 days. That doesn't include, I don't tally my reapplications, but it's just a pinky purpley kind of color. Again, great for spring and summer for my makeup style, and I've really been enjoying using that. The Bite Amuse Bouche lipstick, this is just a mini in this shade Chai. I only wore once, but was able to make a new line. Again, that must be due to reapplications, and it is a deeper mauvey nude shade. I should have like thought through on, like when I swatch them, they look quite different, but I imagine that they could kind of be used for similar looks, the Lumiere and Chai. Lumiere is definitely more purple, Chai is a bit more of a warm color, but I think I should have put a lighter nude in this project, but what can you do? I'm working on 4 eyeshadows in this project. The first is a single from the Body Shop in the shade Melt My Heart. I used this 3 times since the last update. There's the tiniest little dip forming. My goal is to hit pan, of course. I'm also working on the Wet n Wild Walking on Eggshells Trio because this is my oldest palette. I would call this a gold matte if I hit pan on 2 of the 3 shades. But again, I'll just keep it in until the end of the year to see what kind of progress I can make. I only reached for this 4 times. I'm working on so many eyeshadows that I'm having a really hard time like knowing which ones to prioritize. So I just reach for this like a handful of times. So I know these aren't that hard to hit pan on. So if I just focused on them, I'm sure I could in just a week or 2. But then I feel guilty for not using my other shades at all. It's hard when you're panning so many things. I was hoping this would be empty by this update, but it's not. This is the CoverGirl Clean Matte BB Cream in the shade Fair. I wore this 20 times since the last update and am so close to finishing it. It's way down here. So this will definitely be gone by the next update. It's matching me really well right now, maybe a tiny bit light. So what I'm going to start doing until this is gone, I'm going to be mixing these two together to not only darken this a tiny bit now that I'm getting a bit of a tan, but also to again get some more use out of this one. Because I don't want to set this aside to start using the Maybelline one because it's so close to being gone. I can't believe I wasn't able to finish it. That's such a bummer, but it's so close. And the last product I have in this project, I can't find, here it is the ABH Brow Definer. I did not use this a single time since the last month. I'm using an eyeshadow in my eyebrows, and I've been trying to hit pan on it since the beginning of this year. And there's still no pan. If you follow me on Instagram, I share it every once in a while and say the universe is laughing at me because I swear the dip in that eyeshadow goes down lower than the actual metal pan. It is a black hole. I don't know how they did it, but I'm trying really hard to hit pan on that. After that, it's go time for this brow pencil. I really don't have that much left in it. If I could just, you know, focus on it for a couple months, it would be gone. And again, this is my oldest brow pencil. I've had this for many years. It's time for it to go, especially since it's not a favorite and I won't repurchase it. It will just be good to, you know, get it out. But I have to hit pan on the eyeshadow I'm using in my brows first because it's haunting me. Okay, so that was the update for all 20 of my products. Because the Morphe concealer expired and I'm considering that an empty, we have to roll in a new concealer. My next oldest concealer after the MAC Prolongwear is my NYX HD Concealer in the shade Fair. This is way too light for me right now, as you can probably tell. But this is a great shade match for me coming into the winter. So that allows me to continue to focus on my MAC Prolongwear, which is a great under eye concealer for me right now. It's a bit brightening but not too white, and then it matches my skin tone really well once I lose my tan for a spot concealer or to use under my eyes but not in any kind of brightening way. I also don't mind rolling this in knowing I won't get use out of it until, you know, closer to the end of the year, because this only has 3 grams or 0.11 fluid ounces in here, whereas the MAC Prolongwear has 3 times that amount. It has 9 mils or 0.3 fluid ounces. So this is half gone and I still have more concealer in here than if this were new, but it's not new. I've had this for many years, and I think, you know, by the time that this matches me decently, like, you know, October, November, December, I don't think I will have any trouble finishing this, hopefully. And if it's still kicking around at the beginning of the year, that's okay. I should be able to finish it pretty early on in 2021. So I'm trying to be a little bit more strategic And you know, I've used up the lighter products I put in January, and now I'm working on my darker summer things. And now as I'm adding things in again, I want to make sure they're going to work for me coming into, you know, fall and winter as well. So that was everything for my 20 in 2020 Project Pan. I've only hit my goal on 4 out of 20 products, and we're halfway through the year, so I'm going to have to pick up the pace. I put a lot of difficult products in this project knowing I would have a full year, so I'm estimating that, you know, in the fall and winter you will be seeing more empties and more pans per update than you are right now. At least fingers crossed. I'm working on a lot of products, but I'm really happy with the progress I'm making on my makeup collection this year, so I'm feeling good about this project regardless. Let's talk goals for next update. The BB cream will for sure be done. I really hope so. And I'm hoping for pan in both my Tarte bronzer and my bareMinerals powder. So those are my 3 goals to hit by September 1st. Do you think I can do that? Do you think there are other products you think I could finish or hit pan on before these? Let me know in the comment section below. If you did enjoy today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so that I know, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!